New York Attorney General Letitia James wins again, this time against the NRA, forcing the head of the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, out for 10 years. Let's discuss. I'm Dave Aronberg, State Attorney for Palm Beach County, aka the Florida Lawman here on the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you for all your likes and your comments. Let's keep the momentum going. And when it comes to the NRA, well, they've had a lot of problems. And Wayne LaPierre, the longtime head of the organization who quit because of so-called health issues, but it may have had something to do with the lawsuit that Letitia James filed against the NRA, a lawsuit that went to a jury, and the jury found for the state of New York.
The Attorney General's office has a wide range of regulatory and enforcement powers over charitable corporations and their trustees, including the NRA. The NRA's influence has been so powerful that the organization went unchecked for decades, while top executives funneled millions into their own pockets. For years, the NRA diverted millions and millions of dollars away from its charitable mission for personal use by senior leadership.
But now, Letitia James has won again in the second round of the case. This is the penalty phase where they decide what's going to happen to the NRA. Well, Wayne LaPierre is now out. He is banned from the NRA for 10 years. Although the judge in this case decided not to go as far as appoint an independent monitor of the organization. That's something that Letitia James wanted, but the judge refused to go that far. But still, it's a stinging decision for the NRA because although LaPierre was out, there were indications that he wanted back in. Well, he's going to be completely divorced from the organization. And as a guy who's 74 years old, a 10-year ban is pretty much a lifetime ban. And although the judge didn't assign an independent monitor as Letitia James wanted, according to NBC News, the judge directed the Attorney General's office and the NRA to propose other reforms the NRA could enact, such as retaining a compliance consultant, changing the internal audit committee, or reducing the size of the board. Quote, the damages portion of the case we presented, as well as the earlier trial before the jury, demonstrated that the NRA had a stunning lack of accountability and its leaders engaged in illegality and self-dealing, James said in a statement. After years of corruption, the NRA and its senior leaders are finally being held accountable. LaPierre served as the NRA CEO and executive vice president for more than 30 years before he announced his resignation at the beginning of January, days before the start of the trial, citing health issues. Jurors still found there was cause for his removal from the NRA. They determined he had violated his statutory obligation to discharge the duties of his position in good faith, as did John Frazier, the group's corporate secretary and former general counsel, and Wilson Woody Phillips, the NRA's former treasurer and chief financial officer. The reputational damage that the NRA has incurred has been significant in all this. According to NBC News, the dues dropped for the NRA from about $170 million in 2018 to nearly $62 million in 2023. Contributions were nearly cut in half in that period. So that is a pretty devastating turn of events for the largest gun organization funded by the gun lobby, the gun manufacturers. And they're out there they make a lot of noise and they support almost exclusively Republicans, although Congresswoman Patola in Alaska, a Democrat, got a rare endorsement from the NRA. It's a red state, but when it comes to other candidates, they almost exclusively support Republicans. They're been referred to as an arm of the Republican Party. Well, the year 2024 continues to be the year of accountability. Not only is Wayne LaPierre out, but in the damages phase, you're going to see more things, more mandatory compliance and restructuring within the organization. Is probably going to also hit the organization further in the pocketbook. It's not the first time that Attorney General James has succeeded in going after controversial nonprofits like the Trump Foundation, which she shut down. And then she set her sights on the National Rifle Association. These are charities that are supposed to be nonprofit, but what happens is the leaders of them start taking huge salaries, huge bonuses, and diverting money. And yeah, even though they don't technically gain a profit, the individuals in charge are still acting in a way that betrays their fiduciary duties to the members of the charity and to the states they are organized in. For example, in a separate NBC News article, they talked about how James's attorneys spent 6 weeks in Manhattan court painting the NRA as Wayne's World. Remember that movie? Yeah, Party On, Garth, which they said was full of free private jets, expensive meals, travel consultants, private security, and trips to the Bahamas for LaPierre and his family. During closing arguments, Monica Connell, an attorney with the State Attorney General's office, compared the defendants to children caught stealing from a cookie jar. She urged the jury to hold the defendants accountable, even if their attorneys outlined steps they may have taken to address or correct violations. On the stand, LaPierre said he used the organization's financial resources on chartered private jets, family trips, black car services, and high-end gifts for friends. He also testified that he authorized thousands of dollars in helicopter rides so that NRA executives could avoid getting stuck in traffic while traveling to and from NASCAR races. During cross-examination, LaPierre testified it was wrong to charter private planes and limo services for personal use. Does this sound familiar? It sounds like Steve Bannon's We Build the Wall charity scam, right? Which was supposed to build the wall because Mexico never paid for it, and instead they funneled the money into their own pockets. That's why Bannon is facing criminal charges and prison time. That goes even further than this. This was just a civil case. Bannon and his cohorts have either been found guilty already of it or are going to trial. Bannon would have been found guilty already probably had not Donald Trump pardoned him in the federal charges, but now he's going to be facing state charges again in New York. So the state of New York has really been aggressive in all this, where I know a lot of us might have been frustrated with Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice. Well, you've seen justice in the state of New York, whether it's the 34 felony counts where Donald Trump was found guilty in the hush money scheme / election interference scheme, Letitia James going after the Trump organization for various types of civil fraud, and now the NRA. And this is what's been happening in the Empire State, and we'll keep following it here on the MeidasTouch Network. But I'll leave you with this. If you're still concerned that the NRA is going to have a major impact on the election, keep in mind this. In the last few years, the NRA has been considerably weaker, with less influence in the political sphere and fewer members. Membership fell to 4.2 million from nearly 6 million 5 years ago, New York Times reported. And Donald Trump's adherence to all the radical ideas of the NRA is coming back to haunt him in a general election. I suspect he'll be running away from some of these statements he's made in the past and some of these ideas like a refusal to back an assault weapons ban. Watch for it in the coming days of the campaign. And if the candidates ever debate, you can count on Vice President Kamala Harris going after Donald Trump for his obsequience to the National Rifle Association. And if he's going to count on the NRA to get him elected this time around, well, think again. I'm Dave Aronberg, a.k.a. the Florida Lawman, here on the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And check out our sister site, True Crime MTN, where we go over the hottest true crime cases around the country that don't make it here on the MeidasTouch Network. So I'll see you over there, and I'll see you here next time.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.